If I wanted more money, I'd be making mukbangs, honey.
You are a disrespectful piece of...
As of right now, talking about stuff like this is not making me feel better. So now I just have to decide if I actually want to continue the weigh-ins on here. I guess we'll see.
Hello, my skinless chicken nugget. We're starting off strong with a little bit of clickbait. What I have just shown you is what she has included at the very, very, very end of her video, and this is what she has based the entire title on. So she hasn't actually quit, but she's thinking about it. She's at least going to quit doing it on camera. And if she's quitting doing it on camera, she might as well quit altogether because nobody's going to believe her. That is just the reputation our girl has. But let's continue. There's some drama. There's some stuff to talk about.
I was 504.4 today, which means I have 48.2 to go to reach my first mini goal of 456.2. And I lost over 2 pounds. I lost like 2.4 overnight because yesterday was an intuitive eating day. So that means I was on track yesterday, which makes me really happy. I'm on track 9 times out of 10. I'll either lose a little bit of weight, stay the same, or gain a couple ounces.
So believe it or not, when she's on track, she either loses, stays the same, or gains. Who would have thought that's how, weight works? I have been so educated. I'm just, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I feel so enlightened.
But then it's like when I overeat or when I binge, that's when I like gain like a lot of weight. And through this whole situation type deal, we can definitely tell based on like the days where I've binged how much I've gained, days where I've been intuitive, how much I've lost, or just like stayed the same.
And so looking at the barely believable data that she has provided, I cannot tell that she has been eating intuitively all that much. And if she is eating intuitively, it's like, 4,000 or 5,000 calories, because every time she does do intuitive eating, she gains weight. So I don't know where she's getting that information from. Like, I cannot understand how she can extrapolate that kind of sentence information out of what we're seeing here. Every single time she ate intuitively, she gained weight. It was like 0.2, it was a pound. It's always a gain. She's not stayed the same anytime that she has pointed out that she was eating intuitively. So I am absolutely confused how she's reading the same piece of paper as I am and is getting completely different conclusions out of it. I am just flabbergasted. I'm confused. And as of now, she has lasted 15 days, just a little bit over 2 weeks. And so she has gained 10 pounds still, even though that November 16th, she was 506.8. November 17th, she was 504.4. For the first time, she's lost a tiny bit of weight, but she's still overall have gained over 10 pounds. So I don't know what she's on about.
I was receiving a bunch of Instagrams today of people spelling beautiful in a really weird way. And I was like, what's happening? When I say a bunch, I mean like 10. So I was like, okay, the trolls are out tonight. I love that. And it's because of this. So right here in my little poster you guys recently saw, here, let me flip it around and show you guys. Right here it says beautiful, but as you can see, happy accidents, mistakes are normal. This was on purpose because I wanted a section on here where it's just like, you know what? Accidents happen, mistakes are normal, it's okay, that's life. I kind of wanted that on here.
So believe it or not, this particular art piece that she has been slightly made fun of because she misspelled it so terribly. And it wouldn't be, surprising if it was actually on purpose because, she's not maybe, a grammar queen in particular. But this is actually the reason why I believe that it whole triggered the entire speech that we're about to get. This is why we're getting punished and talked down to, because 10 people, probably less, have pointed out that she misspelled something, and that has triggered an entire reaction out of her. And when I tell you she focuses way too much on the negative, if you can even call it that in this case, this is the prime example as of to why. And just those couple of people have made her alter her decision entirely. Her entire plan has just been burned and ruined because 10 people said something about her art. And we'll get into that in just a second. You'll see.
On purpose. And then I was also sitting here thinking like, should I continue my 100 days of weigh-in video form? Because I'm going to do it regardless. My goal was to do it in my personal life, regardless of if I show it or not. And I just figured, why not also show it on YouTube? Because I've tried the whole 100 days of weigh-in, particularly for YouTube. I'm just wondering if I should like take that out of my videos and kind of just do it privately, because I noticed that I am being a lot more, especially the first few days, I was a lot more like open about my eating and my binging. But then ever since like I stopped Ozempic and then keto, and then, you know, I was very honest that I binged on Chips Ahoy and stuff, and it's like people are so brutal.
So I'm wondering if anybody else gets a vibe that she's just trying to make us regret not being more grateful for the content that she's providing. It's almost as if she's trying to punish us, basically, because she did not get the reception that she was participating. It's not unlike her. She has taken content away from the audience before because she didn't like the reaction that it got. So I'm not really surprised, but that's the vibe I'm personally getting from this whole thing so far.
They're so brutal, and that in itself is triggering for any eating disorder. For people to shame you, no matter what eating disorder it is brutal. Like, I can't go on any social media platform without seeing just like shame. And I'm just like, damn, that's not gonna help me. So I don't really know what you're trying to do here. So I don't know. Right now, currently, I'm just like, okay, I'm definitely gonna continue it in my personal life, weighing myself every day until February 11th is not that difficult. I just naturally like to weigh myself anyways, but it's like, do I want to continue filming it? So that is currently where my head is at on November 17th.
Now, is it nice that she's actually getting shamed for something that is supposedly out of her control? Obviously not. It's not something that anybody would want, really. But then again, where's the line of enabling versus supporting versus shaming somebody? Should we just applaud every single addict that there is out there? I understand that we have to have compassion for them. It is a disease, but we cannot be enabling people. And the thing with Amberlynn is that we've been seeing this journey for the past 10 years, despite thousands and thousands of dollars that she's made. The amount of resources that this woman has, a lot of people can only dream of. She had way more money than I could ever imagine, and she had a lot of resources to put that into use and help herself, but she's refusing to change. She's refusing to do anything about it. And I think the cherry on top of this, big cherry, mind you, is the fact that she keeps dodging any kind of responsibility for what is happening to her. Nothing is her fault. Everything is happening to her. Not because of her. It's because of the audience. It's because of all the other factors. Never her fault. Nothing is ever her fault. And a nice saying that I've seen somebody say, I think, in my comment section, is that they were dealt the cards that they have been dealt with, and that is not their fault. However, it is their responsibility now to handle it.
They're just like, wow, you know, they made me feel like shit about myself, the comments. It's like, for some of you guys to read the comments and feel just as bad after reading them, like that breaks my heart. And it's like, maybe if I talk less about my binging and my weight, then the comments reflecting those topics will lessen. So then, you know, me and you guys can stop feeling like utter crap because we binge eat or we restrict. Or
I think now somebody's asking for us to look for our sympathy bone. But where has this sympathy bone been where you have been trashing Becky? Can you remember? Because I can remember. I'll show you a clip.
How I was proposed to. I was sitting in the living room. It was about 2 a.m. and I was in a muumuu. I was like actual grandma chic. Don't think I showered that day. Can't tell you what I was doing. And I remember it being January 13th because my partner thought that she wanted to change that day for me because years prior, that's a day that I got broken up on, like where my heart broke. So she wanted to change that day for me into something special, which I get where your mind frame's at. It's a good mind frame, but it's also kind of weird all in the same. Your heart was in a good place, but it was in a place that I don't know. It was just weird. Okay, so I'm in my muumuu, not showered, hair greasy as per usual. And all of a sudden, like, she comes out, like, she's also in her pajamas, like, just living her best life. We both got the greasy hair, just living our actual separate lives in the same home. I don't know. There was definitely a disconnect, especially when she walked out of the bedroom with something in her hand, and it was like this clear box, and it was small, and I could tell something was in it, and she just sat down across from me and handed it to me, and I looked at it. You guys, It, this is embarrassing, but it's like an actual true situation type deal. It was a tiny pink vibrator with a engagement ring wrapped around it. Like, it was like, say this is the vibrator, it was like on it, like that. And she looked at me and said, will you have sex with me for the rest of my life? And I said yes.
Now, please tell me if this is the kindest, sweetest, most polite, sympathetic, empathetic way you could have described this situation. Tell me that you honored Becky. Tell me that you made them feel loved in that situation. Tell me that you don't feel resentment, bitterness, and anger towards Becky. Because I don't believe so. You expect compassion and kindness and love and support while you being vile, mean, rude, and just straight up nasty. But this is just one example of it. There's many more. You know it.
I don't share my journey to be judged or speculated on. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's part of YouTube. That's just a disgusting way of saying, oh, well, deal with it. No, we need to work on, as a society, being able to be open and not fear bullying or harassment or...
Well, but you are putting everything on a public platform. People are entitled to any opinion that they wish for. You are entitled to not read the comments. You're entitled to not engage with the community at all. You're allowed to not focus on any of that. That being said, I do believe the best option for you mentally right now would be going to inpatient treatment and getting off YouTube, at least for a little while. You can't be out of here sitting, blaming people for the life choices that you have made. This is not fair on us, and you're asking for compassion while you show none. And I know you haven't changed because you continue to be vile.
What do you mean that you're just as triggered eating broccoli versus eating cookies? So when I'm eating broccoli, in my head, I correlate bad and good food. This is something I talked to my psychologist about. We've already discussed this, so you don't have to sit there and say, talk to a professional about this. It's already been spoken about. We've already talked about it. She's already, tried to give me tips to help me, etc., etc. She gave me like the backstory of why people are like this, because I'm not the only one. Don't come for me. So the reason why things like broccoli or just like healthy foods, whole foods, no matter what it is, triggers me is because when you grew up like me, or you grew up with an eating disorder or constant like calorie counting, this and that, when you think of certain foods, you think of bad foods and you think of good foods. And when I'm eating broccoli, or like say green beans or something just like really healthy, because when I eat like broccoli and stuff, I don't put cheese, I don't put things like that. Like I steam my broccoli and I call it a day. I don't put anything on it. So obviously when I think of broccoli, I think of like, okay, this is good food. And it triggers me into thinking about the bad food, like from how I've treated myself with my eating disorder, my addiction, etc., etc. Like if I'm eating broccoli, then I'm like punishing myself because I'm telling myself I can't have bad food.
I cannot claim to understand what she's actually trying to explain over here. It is very convoluted, not really structured well, but I'm not about to judge what she's saying here. I don't have that kind of information. I don't have that kind of training or knowledge to know anything more about it. However, that being said, I do believe that inpatient treatment is still the only option that she has left at this point. For 10 years, she's been trying. For 10 years, she's been saying the same thing. I even made a video showing you year after year after year where she's using the same excuses, presenting us with the same ass scenario year after year, and nothing is changing. I don't know what she thinks she's doing at this point anymore.
I don't know how to explain it, but just like the practice of eating is very triggering in itself. Like if I'm eating a carrot because I want something crunchy, my brain automatically thinks of, wow, I wish I was eating chips. And then when I start thinking of chips, sometimes I truly cannot control myself and I'll order chips from Instacart or whatever it may be. And if I'm eating, like, I'm trying to eat healthy yogurt to get the goods, because some yogurts are really good for you, like Greek yogurts. If I have that in my mouth, I can't help but think of ice cream, and then I'll get triggered into that. And then
see, this alone makes me think that moving to Lexington has been a huge mistake. I don't think she should have ever done that, especially since it's a big city and she has access to all the temptations. Everything that she could ever dream of or feel like, she can have at the click of a button on her phone, easily accessible. She doesn't even have to get off her couch. She doesn't have to stand up from her standing desk at all. The temptation is just too great. I don't understand the reason behind this move at all. It makes no sense.
It's like seeing someone and talking to them about like what I'm going through. They make me feel normal in a way. Like every time I have an appointment, it's just like an hour of me feeling normal instead of me feeling just like attacked or ashamed or someone who's like unhealthy. Like I just feel normal for a minute. But sadly, this is probably going to be the last time I talk about my binging or my food struggles for a while on my channel, because I just feel like in this moment, I want to be able to have a free mind.
See, I understand that she doesn't really have options for any kind of other employment at the moment, but like this is just further proving the point that she shouldn't be on YouTube. She cannot handle the pressure, she cannot handle the criticism, she cannot handle the environment that she has created around her entire channel. I don't know how she keeps managing to talk to a psychologist that's apparently on maternity leave, but yet here you are. She apparently is still having this person in her life. So what am I gonna say? Either way, after all the disrespect that she's dished out, all the drama that she's caused, she still is just not to blame. Things are happening to her. To her. So none of it is her fault. All of it is on us, okay? It's your fault, chicken nuggets. Because you're skinless. Either way, long story short, she has not really quit the weigh-ins, the daily weigh-ins, the 100-day challenge. She's just absolutely clickbaited it. There's no saying if she's going to continue or not because she hasn't even decided. She's clickbaited the title, but she hasn't actually told us if she's quitting putting it on video or not. I'm assuming she's fishing for sympathy and some kind of a response. And depending on what the comments say, depends what she's going to do.